we're going to be discussing tonight in the Bible. There's a passage that basically says that the earth is a circle. Now, if you...
Which passage is that?
You would ask me that one right off the top of my head, wouldn't you? Basically, they think that the earth is in the Bible. It's basically the earth is described as a circle, or is basically flat. There is, and today, in the 21st century, and I wrote it down. This is Never mind. If you didn't see the clip from earlier, you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. In the 21st century, there are people who believe today that the Earth is flat because they can't see over the horizon for whatever reason. They think the Earth is flat. No, the Earth is not flat. It's round, and we go out into space and we can see satellite pictures and things like that. And of course, they'll say, "Oh, this is all fake" and whatnot. And as this was not last year or a couple years ago, there was the Flat Earth Society said that Galileo had it wrong. They were charging admission. They were like charging up to $50 admission to go to this thing with these preachers and whatnot, saying that Galileo was wrong, that the Earth is not actually not round, it's actually flat. There is a lot of problems with these people that they think that the Earth is flat. And I think the flatness starts at the top of their head and it just kind of pushes down. Anyway, we're gonna give everybody 2 minutes to give their side of the story on what they think on this. And Joe, we're going to start with you.
Me?
And yes, we're going to start with you. And your
Me?
Yes, you. And your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, you mentioned that the Bible mentions the earth as a circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's mentioned a couple times in the Bible, but one of the main ones comes from Isaiah 40:22.
Mm-hmm.
He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this fits in with what the early writers of the Bible originally believed. The writers of the Bible understood the earth to be flat, supported on a foundation of pillars covered with a dome of stars, and the flat earth had edges, and according to some Bible passages, even had corners. Now, in 1 Chronicles 16:30, the earth is fixed.
Uh-huh.
It's... Hold on, I got the actual quote. He has fixed the earth firm and immovable. And there's several other passages, mostly from Psalms, that say things like Psalm 93:1, "Thou hast fixed the earth immovable and firm." Psalm 96:10, "He has fixed the earth firm and immovable," so on and so forth. A lot of these passages were used in the trial of Galileo because Galileo said, you know what? I think Copernicus was right. I think that the earth is not the center of the universe, that the earth is actually moving around the sun. And I can prove that because, look, Venus has phases. And the Catholic Church tried him for heresy, and they said, no, you're a blasphemer. The Bible says the earth does not move, and this is a big problem. These passages were used they were used against him to say that the earth doesn't move. Oh, I ran out of time.
You ran out of time. Yep.
Oh man, I wasn't even looking at the clock.
That's all right. That's why I'm watching the clock. I am the clock watcher here.
I was worried I was gonna run out of time like Crystal, but
yeah, well, Crystal always seems to stop right beforehand.
Okay,
so she's good.
Right.
She's really good at that.
You know what?
What's that?
Despite all the passages I mentioned, we now know the Earth rotates and orbits.
Yes.
So there.
So there. Me, we got you.
The worst timed explanation ever by me.
It's okay.
And now I'm going to mute my microphone and wait for the next person. Good luck.
Wayne, it's your turn now. And 2 minutes on the clock. Your turn starts now.
This is an idea that I'll give you this echo now. Yeah, this is an idea that just never seems to die. It's it makes sense sort of originally from without thinking about it that the world looks flat, so maybe it is flat. But when you put some thought into it, doesn't you can reach the conclusion that probably it's rounded spherically. Aristotle was one of the first people to do this in 330 BC. So it was not, impossible for even an ancient person to come up with the idea. But which is really interesting that the Christian religion didn't embrace this, because they embraced so much of Aristotle's philosophy. They to not take as rounded Earth. Who knows? But then even in the 1800s in England, they tried to do an experiment where they tried to figure out if the Earth was really flat or not, the so-called Bedford level experiment, where they used a long river, and they tried to do some. But it wasn't very well done. But people used that result and started a whole new round in the 1800s of flat Earth societies. These what they call zetetic societies, where they believed the Earth was round, and then. That carried on, and then in the 50s in the U.S., particularly, resurgence of flat Earth stuff, which those are the same people who ended up thinking the whole moon landing's a hoax. So there's just no hope for some people. Yeah, just reject any science or thought. Just whatever the world looks flat, so it must be flat. Yeah.
I think they must. Some of those people, I think they live in Iowa, because the Earth is just so flat there. The land is so flat there, they can see the back of their own head. Well, your time is up now, Michael, and we're going to reset the clock on this. And Michael, you have 2 minutes. What is your take on the flat Earth?
Basically, we've got a TV show over here called QI, and which is. It basically tells you facts that people didn't know, which sometimes we think are also wrong, which are the true facts. And basically, there was one on there where they reported that in the 1500s or even earlier than that, there was most people would actually believe that the Earth was round. But what happened was only religious people and religious people would actually believe that the Earth was flat. But then what happened was there was a book that came out in the 1800s that reported that the Earth was flat once again, and she also reported that the one of the travellers who I think it was who found America was actually thought that the Earth was flat. But from the actual evidence, they proved that he actually believed, along with most other people that weren't religious, that the Earth was actually round. And basically, the Earth being flat, I can understand why people used to believe that, because you could see, if you look forwards, it almost looks flat, but if you actually, when they go out to space, what they reported is the Earth's not actually 100% cylindrical. It's almost like an egg shape because of the way the Earth tilts on its axis. That's all I can think of.
Okay. I didn't have to hit the buzzer on you either. You had 5 seconds. You're right. The Earth is not a all right, everybody goes to school and they have the round globes, and that's really a misrepresentation of the Earth, because the Earth is actually wider at the equator.
The Earth is an oblong spheroid.
Right, exactly. And the what's interesting is that people who are standing on the equator are actually traveling faster than someone who's like up here in Wisconsin or Florida or anywhere else. So the closer you get to the equator,
Wisconsin people are slow.
We're slow out here. It's a micro fraction of a second. It's not really a whole lot, but I mean it's really kind of cool that if
you experience time slower than the people at the equator.
You know what's really interesting is that if the Earth was spinning just a little bit faster, you could go to the equator and you'd be virtually weightless. Which is kind of cool if you think about it. I mean, hey, I
So
don't
you
need
don't have to lose any weight.
Right, exactly. I just moved.
You go to the
I don't need
equator
to
and
lose
eat all
any
you
weight.
want.
I don't need to lose any weight. I'll just move to the equator. Hey, I weigh as much as everybody else. Nothing.
Hey, you look great. What did you do? I moved to the equator.
I went on the equator diet.
Yes.